Hello everyone, and let's start with Karl Marx structurally. Okay, I hope by now you have a brief understanding of what Karl Marx will be laying forward. Okay, so the way to do this is that we will be going through his key theories, which will be his history. He will have a theory to explain how history works. Okay, now this part of him explaining how history works will come when he will be critiquing Hegel. So first we will have to understand what was Hegel's view about history. Hegel will be giving a idea version of history. Okay, like Plato. What Marx will be doing? Marx will be giving a material version of history, how history works, how history moves. Okay, then we will see his theory of revolution. He will use history only to tell why revolution will be coming soon. Between whom? Workers. For that also he will give his justification theory, which is okay, that when the workers will be having real consciousness, then they will be in a position to revolt. And when we say revolt, it means bloody revolution, khoon kharaba. And then we will see alienation. Okay, these are his main theories. If we do that, we will have a complete understanding of Karl Marx. Okay, history में he will be defining economic base. Okay, revolution में he will be explaining about with history and revolution both ending up with communism. So these are the major areas where we will be stopping. Okay, so first let's try and see what Hegel is, who Hegel is, what his view was. So understand now who Hegel was. Hegel, there was this one nation or empire called Prussia, and Hegel was वहाँ का, let's say there was a civil service there in Prussia. So like we have position of CAG or position of Chief Election Commissioner. Similarly, Hegel was in a position where he was chief philosopher. ठीक है, chief philosopher of the state. Now obviously, tell me, can an IAS officer start making his criticism of government available to media? Can he do that? No, he cannot. He has to work with whatever government is. Similarly, this chief philosopher position, why is it there? What was the task of Hegel? To make sure to lay forward theories and justifications. For what? For making state of Prussia seem legitimate, ताकि all the subjects, all the people living in Prussia understand कि देखो भाई, Prussia, state of Prussia is very sacred. It is almost as same as God. State of Prussia is nothing but march of God on earth. March. March of God, parade of God. Parade of God on earth. So if there is anyone who is more close to being God, it is state of Prussia, as simple as that. For that he laid forward a grand theory which is very, very, let's say, making no sense at all kind of theory. But before that, understand about Hegel this one point, that he is very much like Plato. Not in the sense that exactly like Plato, but his world view is idealistic. Understand? He lives in a world of idea. Obviously, you need to show that this state of Prussia is like God. Obviously, God itself is an idea. ठीक है? And you have to equate it. You have to prove LHS equal to RHS. RHS में you are keeping God. LHS में you are keeping state. How do you do that? If this is idea, then you will have to use justification from idea world only. ठीक है? Now understand this thing. State is a march of God on earth. This is a statement given by Hegel. Now, what does he mean from this? So, his view is that bhai, this is universe, and universe has two parts. One is material, and one is spiritual. Spiritual में ही God will live. God comes, spiritual reality. Material reality is here. Now, according to him, everything here is just a reflection of here. Material world is just reflection of spiritual world. Now, with that being said, according to him, then there are mountains, ठीक है, trees, let's say a dog, and let's say man, you, me. Then after man, what starts developing are institutions, institution of family, institution of society. What kind of society? Civil society, institution of state, and then after state, who is there? United Nation. It was not there. Yeah. So what he wants to say is that, let's say, when we are talking about mountains, it is also reflection of the idea, perfect idea God, but this has less percentage. Let's say 2% of God. 2% of God mountain has. Then tree, because tree can grow, live, but it cannot move. It can only grow up, grow down. ठीक है? So what you are having, let's say, 10% of God. Then let's say you have this animal. Now you can move here, there, you can go up, down, you live, die. ठीक है? So you have more God in you. You have 15% of God. These percentages are random. Now human can think for himself. He can create. So you are, let's say, 40% God. Not total God, 40% reflection of God you have. Then institution of family, it has 50% God. Why? It can take care of you when you are weak. It gives you support, strength, just like God gives. So it has lot of power. Then civil society, what is right, what is wrong, civil society will decide with, let's say, collective knowledge of ages. ठीक है? They will be working together for production. So it has more God in it, 60% God. Then we come to state. And when we come to state, we find that state takes care of this. State is taking care of all. If you remove state, survivability of this all can be gone. So state has almost 90% God in it. Above this 90% we see nothing. So we see that state is almost equal to God here in material world, most perfect manifestation of God. Hence hence state is march of God on earth. ठीक है? Now you will be saying that, sir, I am not understanding any of this. This makes no sense. So Hegel says that if you want to understand all of this, that state is equal to God, you need to have reason. Very, let's say, it is valid tactic. It is a tactic which has been used many early times by Socrates and Plato, that you don't want anyone to question you, you just say you will need to have reason. And nobody will say कि भाई I don't have reason, I am not intelligent. And you will say okay, state is march of God on earth. I understand because I have reason. As simple as that. So state is what? Reflection of God on earth. So what do you have to do? Do you question God? Do you disobey God? No. You follow God. You worship God. Similarly, you obey state. You follow state. You worship state. ठीक है? If that is clear. Understand now? We are just trying to understand his ideas. Who's Hegel? Because if we understand Hegel, then only we can begin with Marx. We see Hegel is believing in the world of idea. ठीक है? And whatever theories he is giving, it is very politically motivated. Politically motivated, it means there is a need for those theories in the political circumstances in Prussia. You have to certain lay your hegemony, not, let's not say hegemony right now, legitimacy. Okay, now if that is clear, recall Socrates. What was his method? His method was dialectics. ठीक है? What do we do in dialectics? We apply reason, tark. Okay, what happens in dialectics? You give a statement A. You give a statement A. Then what will happen is a statement in opposition will develop. A dash. One will win. Let's say A dash win. So in next stage, only A dash remains. Nobody believes in this now. Then A dash के opposition में a statement will emerge, A dash dash, and one will win. Let's say A dash dash win now. Nobody believes in A dash now. Then a statement will emerge, A dash dash, in opposition to it. This will keep on going until unless in the end only one thing remains and no opposition comes. When this thing happens, this will become your synthesis. What was early? These. If this was thesis, which comes first, this is antithesis. What is thesis? A, let's say, argument. Thesis is something you are trying to prove. Let's say earth is round. Somebody said that earth is round. Then somebody said no, earth is flat. Opposition. Somebody said earth is in the center and sun revolves around earth. Other said that nahi bhai, sun is in the center and earth revolves around them. In the end, what will happen? One will remain. Which one is remaining? This one here. Which one is remaining? This one here. So this becomes synthesis. Result. What was this? Thesis. When thesis will come, antithesis will come. They will keep on fighting. ठीक है? One will win. These are ideas. Ideas are fighting. ठीक है? Trying to get how many will support that idea. Sati Pratha. Good thing. No, Sati Pratha. Bad thing. Thesis. Antithesis. Which is remaining now? This one. What is this now? Synthesis. I hope you understand this much. Then let's see what did Hegel contributed. This cannot be his main contribution, right? That state is march of God on earth. This cannot be a contribution. It can be a contribution for Prussia because people will be obeying Prussia, not a contribution for us, or not a contribution that, let's say, Marx will need to give a counter argument upon. It is his job. He is national chief philosopher. His duty is to make sure that by everybody is seeing Prussia as one of the greatest thing in the world, just like God. So इसलिए he was giving this theory. His main contribution is that he used this dialectics का concept. He used dialectics and gave us a theory of history, that how does history moves. How does history moves? History moves like this. How is it moving? So he said that history is nothing but movement of ideas. Ideas are moving, which is what we call history. Think yourself only. पहले you were using stones. Then somebody had idea कि भाई let's try to build from iron long spears. Idea. Changing ages. Then you thought that no, let's try to use steam power. And why use muscle when you can use steam power? Idea is shifting history. Everything is changing because of ideas. Or let's say you are saying by religion is supreme, so power is in the hand of pope. ठीक है? Idea. Then you had idea कि नहीं भाई, religion is not supreme, state is supreme. Everything is changing. ठीक है? Or let's say your idea that Land will be held hereditary, and only zamindars will have land, only barons will have lands. ठीक है, medieval time, feudal time. What is this idea? Then your idea changed. You said let's redistribute the land. Nehru tried to did. ठीक है. Now Nehru tried to do that, not very successfully, but tried to do. Ideas changed. Now even a person being born and selling tea can rule. Modi. Idea is changing. History is moving. ठीक है. Understand how he is giving that history is movement of ideas by using dialectics. So he is using the method of dialectics. Now not only is he using dialectic method, he is giving you a law of dialectics. See, Newton gave laws of motion. Newton gave laws of motion. How many laws? Three. Here you are trying to understand movement of idea, or let's say motion of ideas. Here you were trying to understand motion of material. What do you call this? Mechanics. What do you call this? Motion of ideas? Dialectics. How many laws? Three. Law 1, unity of opposites. Unity of opposites. What does it mean? If there is an argument, there is always a counter argument. If there is a thesis, there is a antithesis. If there is Ram, there is Ravan. ठीक है? It means it is not like only one can live, other will also be in existence at the same time. Unity, they are one unit only. Balance, ठीक है? Second, negation of negation, which means negative gets cancelled, only positive will remain. See, unity of opposites, both will emerge same time. If Ram is there, Ravan is there. Who is the positive one? This is positive. Who is negative? This is negative. Who gets killed? Who remains? As simple as that. This is negation of negation. Negative gets cancelled. And third law, quantity changes into quality, which means that you go to gym and you start day, this is your day 1. You start using 5 kg dumbbell. ठीक है? You do 3 sets. Do you think you will get huge biceps today? No. You go next day, day 2. You go. On day 408, let's say, you will see that bhai you have huge biceps. ठीक है? And you can lift not just 5 kg, you can lift 20 kgs easily. Do 5 sets. What did just happen? Quantity changes into quality. This is a time theory. When you give enough time, you read for 4 hours daily. ठीक है? In one day, you won't become super intellectual. You won't become genius. You won't clear prelims. But let's say 4 hour you are giving daily for 365 days. This becomes a quality change. Quality change it has become now. You are super intelligent, super genius. You can clear prelims easily. Okay. So these are the three laws that he gives. Now understand. Will use using these three laws, what his conclusion is that history is movement of ideas. History is movement of ideas. So if movement stops, what it does it mean? It will mean that history also stops. जब तक ideas move कर रहे हैं, history is moving. When idea stops moving, history stops moving. It becomes all constant. Now, what is the biggest idea that we have formed? Idea of state, according to Hegel. Hence, according to Hegel, history will stop with creation of state. There is no more history because state will have no antithesis. State is a, what is the word that I used when antithesis and thesis emerge in a result? Synthesis. Thesis, antithesis. Unity of opposites. If this is there, this is there. This will keep on happening until unless there is no more conflict, no more contradiction. Whatever will be remaining will be your result, synthesis. According to him, when he used these three laws, what synthesis he came in conclusion of state कि भाई state का there is no antithesis. ठीक है, nobody can counter state. So history is ending. State is the final idea. Now, what do we call this? Interpretation of history, we can call this. What kind of interpretation can we call this? What kind? You are saying movement of idea is movement of history. So this is a idealist, idea based interpretation of history. Who is giving this? Hegel. Here comes Marx. And what Marx will be giving is again the same thing. What is the same thing? Interpretation of history. Now, what kind? I know you can easily guess. Material, materialist. And his theory is called historical materialism. You understand this thing very clearly. I don't want you to be troubled in this. ठीक है? Interpretation of history, Hegel gave idea version. Material version, Marx will be giving. Of history, same thing. Materialist, historical materialism. What was the method used here? Dialectics. Dialectics का मतलब ये है ideas, counter argument. So there is no need to say कि idealist dialectics. Dialectics means idea का बात. Here, what kind of materialism are we talking about? Dialectical. Dialectical materialism. Historical materialism. What kind of materialism? What method we are using? Dialectical. Whenever dialectical we use, you just think of debate. When you are debating, you are basically fighting with words. Similarly, material will be now fighting. How? How will be they fighting? They will be in conflict. So we will see that. Hegel gave his view of how history is moving. History is moving with movement of ideas. What will Marx say? That bhai suno, Hegel, your theory of idea, movement of idea is stupid. Obviously, he did not use the word stupid. What will he call? He will call that this is not scientific. Not scientific explanation. ठीक है? Mumbo jumbo it is. कुछ भी बोल रहा है. Not scientific explanation. Mumbo jumbo है. In fact, Hegel, you are giving this idea because you are politically motivated, which is obvious because you are chief philosopher. ठीक है? You did not get good rank. You did not become IAS. You had rank 800. You became this chief philosopher of state of Prussia. And this means one thing very clearly, that if your explanation is not scientific, this means that mine, मेरी theory is scientific in nature. I told you in its introduction class that Marx considered himself as a scientist. ठीक है? Now understand this thing. You know hen and egg. Which came first? Hen or egg? Chicken or egg? Similarly, Marx put forward a game like this only, a puzzle, that what is the first thing that man did? Think or do? Basically, you started thinking first or you started doing action first. Which came first, thinking or action? Now, understand his logical conclusion that you want to make history. If you have to make history, it means there is a need that man should be there. तभी तो history होगी. Without man, there is no history. For this, man needs to live. Now, how will man live? Man will live when man will eat food. But to eat, man will have to gather food or grow food. That is, man will have to perform action. So, action is coming first. If you do not perform action, you will not get food. If you do not get food, you will not live. If you will not live, so what history? So the first task is action. This is Marx's point of view, that action is very much the core aspect of history. Now understand, what else can we infer from this? This means technically that labor is more important. You can sit here after eating, living, and you can say rubbish. It does not mean thing. Labor is important. Without labor, without this step, nothing will be possible. So what is important? Labor. Labor can also be of two types. One can be your manual labor. You are working with hands. And one can be your intellectual labor. Let's say Amitabh Kant. Who is he? CEO of Niti Aayog. What is Niti Aayog? Think tank. Government think tank. What does Amitabh Kant do? Think. Intellectual labor he do. Tell me, is it possible for him to think without eating? And for eating, action is required. Food cannot come with thinking. So manual labor is the main thing. After this only every other thing is possible. ठीक है? So you can live if there is no Amitabh Kant. You can live in a world where there is no Amitabh Kant. If Amitabh Kant ka work you remove it from the world, he does some work, thinking work. If you remove his work, can you live? Yes. But if farmers or laborers, agricultural laborers, they stop working, you won't be living. There will be no food. ठीक है? So which work is important? Manual labor. Now let's try to think. Brahmins, what do they do? Intellectual labor. In Indian society, intellectual labor, who provided? Brahmins. Who were providing manual labor? Let's say all the other, your Kshatriyas, or let's say Vaishyas or Shudras, all were providing manual labor. He will be fighting, he will be trading, he will be growing crops, food. This is manual labor. Understand Marx ka view. Marx says that intellectual labor does nothing but provide false consciousness. What does this mean? That intellectuals will be laying forward theories or things that will make these always fearful. Let's say, what do Brahmin do? Rituals. ठीक है? Rituals, ग्रह शांति, etc. All Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, all fearful कि भाई पता नहीं क्या बोल रहे हैं. So Marx says always stay away from false consciousness, because जब तक false consciousness will be there. See, what is normal Indian perspective? If you are working hard and somebody takes your, let's say, income away, you will say अरे ठीक है, whatever is written in our fate, that will only happen. Why? Because they are saying so. They are intellectuals and they will be depriving you of what you deserve. As simple as that. Basically, you will be exploited by intellectuals because they do not have the capacity to work. ठीक है? They do not want to work. So they will be justifying. They will be justifying. They know nothing. They know only talks. So they will be justifying why they should not be working and you should be working so much labor. They will be justifying their laziness. Not even laziness, their scope of being lazy. ठीक है? So in Indian context also we see Now, understand society. Marx' view on society. So, obviously, how will it originate? In Indian context, if you think how did society emerge, because you have to do lots of work and you alone cannot do, you need more people. Now any work will have parts. Let's say you are creating a dam, so you need someone to bring rocks, you need someone to lay cement, you need someone to draw the diagram of the dam. ठीक है, you need someone to supervise, you need someone to maintain it later. So you divide all the work. इंडिया में वर्ण सिस्टम, वर्ण, division of labor. Similarly, Marx's view is that origin of society will be because one man cannot do everything alone. So you will create society, you will form society for task of production. For the task of production, you will be forming society because you alone cannot produce. ठीक है, you cannot produce everything. Think of a man who is growing crops also, who is weaving his clothes also, who is constructing road also for him, and he is constructing his car also. Nobody do that. It is not possible. So you form a society where every one of you do some of the work. Now think, why you are creating society? For task of production. What is task of production? It is a necessity. What kind of necessity? Necessity for survival. What can you produce? Food, bridge, house, dams. There is, let's say, weapons for safety. Now understand why task of production we are using society, creating society, because one person alone cannot do everything. So task of production, one person cannot handle alone. You will need to have society, which means task of production is what? It is a social activity. Task of production is a social activity. Social activity is your basic structure. Social activity is the basic structure. Family, mother, father, they feel companionship, they feel sense of purpose with children. Children are dependent on parents. Together, they are well balanced, well established, well needs are clearly articulated. Hence, they can be a part of society very efficiently. So, social activity is becoming your basic structure, which means every relation, all relations, all relations will be what? They will be relation of productions. All relation. There is no relation. Friendship also. Think, what is friendship? What is a friend? He will be supporting you. You will be supporting him. You will be sharing something of you with him, he will be sharing something of him with you. You will try not to judge, you will try to give, let's say, advice. You will get advice. It is like you are a prime minister, your friend is your, no, you are king, your friend is your prime minister, and vice versa. You act as his prime minister when he is king. This will all make you मन से very stable. And what is your stress? By your work stress. Every relation is a relation of production according to Marx. So understand what is relations. Relation is how can you define engagement between two, that by he took birth from him, so he is father son relation, that is biological relation. But let's say your neighbor, or let's say your relation with state, your relation with police, your relation with media, or let's say when you are in work, your relation with your boss relationship with his boss, every relation are relation of production. Production, you are not producing ideas. What you are producing? Cars, nails, basically material production. Material production. So basically all the society ka structure, its nature is material only. Think of it, one zamindar having lots of land, all of the people working on fields that are not there. What is the relation between them? You are worker, agricultural laborer, you are zamindar. You will never own land, your son will also work here. This is true, this happened. Material structure, land is material, and because of how this material is being allocated, your relation is changing. You are at a high position, you are at a low position automatically. When this will change, history will change. ठीक है? When system changes, revolution it is called. ठीक है? Then can we call him a structuralist? Marx. So we can definitely call him structuralist because he. What is structuralism? Structuralism is a doctrine, or let's say scientific way of studying thing. Let's say you are studying about this atom. One method is you break this atom down. You break it down, so you find electrons, you find protons, you find neutrons. Then you try to break them down further. कि भाई न्यूट्रॉन को तोड़ेंगे, then you will find Higgs boson, quarks, etc, more bosons. Why are you doing this? Because you want to understand what is the core element which is creating everything. You simplify it, you try to find the root cause of a issue. Jad, root. This is a structuralist matter, structuralist manner. What Karl Marx tries to do is he wants to understand the whole society like a structure, and what he will be coming in conclusion of. This is very interesting, so make sure you give lot of focus now. According to him, structure of society is like this. This is your base structure. What is the base here? In atom, can you call atom complete? No. Atom has electron, proton, neutron. When you break these neutrons down, you find Higgs boson, quarks. They are not able to break these further. So you say these are the, let's say, crux or core particle, or let's say God particle. This is real. ठीक है? In particle physics, you are calling it God particle because you cannot break it further down. This is the core. So any change that you need to understand कि भाई how is boson working. You understand that boson is the thing that is giving you weight, mass. Weight boson will give to atom. Atom will have no weight. Boson will be giving weight. So you have to understand atom. You understand how boson work. You try to understand how quantum physics work. You try to intermingle quantum with your classical physics. Here, if you do that, maybe you will be able to explain how black hole का center works, which is what? Singularity. खैर. Similarly, he has broken the society and its core is this base. Now, what is this base? This is economic base. That is production. तभी तो society है. So this is the basic structure. Now, what will be on top of this? On top of this will be superstructure. Superstructure are which are directly dependent on this base. Let's say church. What is church? Church means assembly of people who are spiritual in nature, or let's say schools, or let's say hospitals, or let's say NGOs, or let's say institution of family, or let's say even your state. So even the state is dependent on economic production, economic economic structure which is productive, production in nature. I am not sure if you get this or not. Think of it like this. This is the part which is the main part you have to analyze. If you want to understand why changes are coming in schools, hospitals, NGOs, family, state, it will be because changes are coming in this part. ठीक है? This is the main part, real part. Everything is just directly dependent on this. Any change happen here, it will be reflected in these parts. Let's say in economic production, females are getting engaged now. Females are getting roles in economic production. ठीक है? How? Because education is available now, jobs are available now, movements have occurred granting feminist agendas forward. So what we are seeing, that by family also has changed. Both husband and wife are working. State is changing. They are demanding 50% parliament seats, and first US president you are wanting to see as a female. Hillary Clinton ka whole election campaign was based upon that. Hospitals, maternity leave, maternity issues, you are raising schools, you are trying to impart leadership skill in women. ठीक है. Now it is not that they are demanding this because अचानक से they had a dream कि चलो tomorrow we will become president and we will say that I am the first president, women president. No, it is because changes have come in the basic structure, that is production wala part. Women are part of production now. They are CEOs. Indra Nui. ठीक है. You are, because you are getting powerful here, that is why you are able to exert pressure to influence changes here. ठीक है. What is this? Superstructure, directly dependent on basic structure. So, can we say that superstructure is just a reflection of basic structure or base? So, yes. Can we say reflection means shadow? We can say yes. See, state. If I change the state from dictatorship to democracy, what does dictatorship or democracy means? That how this state is, who is operating this state machinery? State is a machine. Who is operating it? One person is operating it. Dictatorship. All the people are operating it with their representatives. So we call it democracy. Few people, rich people, are in control. They will provide lot of money to one party and that party will always win. Oligarchy. There is no difference. ठीक है. They are same thing. State will function. Only who will control is changing. It has nothing, no impact on common person's life. So if you want to change effectively how this thing is operating, you need to transform your base, your economic structure, or your structure which is production wala part. Mode of productions you have to change. Do you see why Marx is so important? He wants to change one thing that till now we have gathered and understood as common understanding, that you, one person, can get property, one person can establish a company, one person can own a factory. What will all this do? They only produce. But we just saw that production is a social activity. One person cannot produce himself. It is his necessity to have more persons involved together. Now you can collectively produce. How come it is that these are producing, you are not, yet you are getting all the profits? Can you do it alone? No. Yet you are getting all the profit. How, let's say, unreasonable is it all sounding to Marx? You try to understand. Again, think, one person cannot produce iPhone. It is, production is a social activity. It is very common sense that you can produce iPhone when lots of people are there. Idea cannot, if you have idea of iPhone, it will not have any value. Nobody will buy from you 2 lakh का idea of iPhone. ठीक है. You will need to sell a real iPhone material, and that for that part lots of people will be involved. It is a social activity. How come it is that everyone will be working, providing labor? You will not. Yet you will earn all the profit, and these will earn only wages, not even just wages. There is no security. If they start asking more, you will dismiss them. Why? Because they can easily be replaced by another. You will always keep them in fear that they can be replaced. How is this normal? How is this reasonable? And this is the basic structure. This is what is happening all around, whether medieval or modern. Medieval में what was the mode of production? कि भैया you have farm, you grow crops. One person was controlling the whole mode of production. I am owning the land. Land is my capital. If you want to work, you come. अरे भैया you cannot grow crops alone. ठीक है. Similarly, in modern times, factories, same thing. Farm पे तो you will not earn. Factories पे you will earn. But again, one person is controlling. What is this? This is what made Marx historic. Why? He has just unleashed criticism of the very basic economic structure, which means all the powerful people. Who will be powerful? All powerful. Powerful will only be one who is rich, because money equals power. Money say you can mobilize resources, you can buy politicians, you can buy political power, you can buy muscle, you can buy hard power. So you are challenging the authority of all powerful people in the world, because they are powerful because they are rich. They are rich because they own factories, they own land. Who is producing? Other people, workers, who are getting meager wages. Yet you are the most powerful. Understand this thing. Now, if you want to see changes in the other institution, let's say family or state, is it enough to just change the structure how they are operating? No. What is important is changing economic base. Economic base is the real thing that can have impact. Now, understand. When society was feudal in nature, feudalistic means one person is owning lot of land, so you need to control it. How will you control it? You will start living in joint families. Chacha, bhatije, all living together, because more muscle, more easily able to control workers, agricultural laborers. Now you are doing one job at Google. What we are seeing, you are working in bank as bank PO. Your father is in, let's say, railways. What do you do? Why would you keep Chacha Bhatije, etc., etc.? So you see, nuclear family. Economic system is changing. We are seeing changes in how relations emerge in modern times. We are not living together with all the family members, distant family members. We are living with only close family members. So understand here what idea will be forwarded? Collective traditions, culture, What ideas will be forwarded here? Live and let live. My rules. Like people's Instagram statuses. ठीक है, my rules. ठीक है. Do you see a person coming at 12 a.m. at night after partying occurring here? No. Culture will change. Now you are coming at 1 a.m. partying. ठीक है. Everything changes when economic system changes. But obviously economic system is not changing completely. We will see how. Revolution. Marx theory of revolution. Feudalism ended, modern time came. Remember feudalism, joint family, let's say here nuclear family. Something has changed. Change has occurred. Is that change a revolution? No. Understand what Marx means from revolution. From revolution, he means total, complete change. This is not total change. Here also, relations are same. See, some effect is there seen, but the underlying economic structure is same. There one person was owning lot of land. Here one person is owning Google, or let's say board members few. You are working. Same structure is there. Nothing has changed. Do you see our Indian national movement or our freedom struggle? We call it a revolution. Understand? From Marx's perspective, it is not a revolution. Why? Because underlying structures are same. Nothing happened. Only transfer of power. Only transfer of power occurred. ठीक है? Viceroy Mountbatten just handed over the power to Nehru. Nehru became the next viceroy. As simple as that. Nothing changed. Their parliamentary system, same parliamentary system. वही लोकसभा राज्यसभा, same लोकसभा राज्यसभा. What changes did occur? Nothing. Same ICS officer, IAS officer, IPS officer, commissioner, same IPS officers. Nothing is changing. Governor, governor. Yes, president is there, but here queen was there. Queen, president. Nothing is changing, just transfer of power. ठीक है, system is not changing. It is just that okay, you use the system now. We were using, we are British, now you use the system for yourself. ठीक है. Now, what needs to be changed? Basic structure. What is the basic structure? Economic structure. What is that economic structure? Production. So let's try to see what does this structure has in it. This is what we need to change if we need to get a good change, significant change in all the institution. That level of change will be like re-evolution. Evolution is one thing, but re-evolving everything, revolution, that we need to have. For that, we need to change the basic structure. Let's try to do that. We have seen lot of time changing state, ke who should be. Aristotle was talking about let's have oligarchy or let's say polity or let's say democracy. Same J.S. Mill, same others, or let's say Machiavelli, Prince, how to get the power of state. One institution, this they were talking about. Marx is talking about changing this part. So let's try to understand this part अच्छे से. What is our basic structure? Mode of production. So what will this encompass? It will encompass your means. माध्यम. माध्यम क्या है? किस चीज़ का? प्रोडक्शन का. Means of production. So it can be land, labor, and capital. Very basic economy. Land, labor, capital. You will need land to establish factory. You will need labor to work, to create, and you will need capital to get raw material. ठीक है? Capital is your working money. ठीक है? You need these three things. So these are the means of production. Without these three things, you cannot produce. Forces of production. It could be muscle. Let's say you are making agarbatti. You are using muscle only. Let's say you are making 5G Huawei cell phones. Then your forces are technology. 5G. Relations of production. Now what are these? According to Marx, these are the most important social relations of all. Most important social relation. Social is among people. This is the most important. What will be the actors in the mode of production? Currently, owner and non-owner. Owner will be reaping profits. Non-owner can be getting salary or no salary. If no salary, then you are a slave. But good thing this is not anymore. Now, understand, I told you this is the most important relations of production, because see, means are free, labor are people, capital you have to gather, land is there only, no, nothing I have to do here. Forces to bhai is natural, whatever will be. You cannot have 5G in 1707, right? With time only these will change. Forces. What can change is relations of production. You can change this. Now understand what are these. Relations of production. You have owner and you have non-owner. And if you are owner, you will be owner of what? You will be owner of means. You are owning means of production. If you are non-owning anything, what you are not owning? You do not have means of production. Eventually, who will be having more money, more resources? Let's say you own the Apple factory and you are working on Apple devices. Apple iPhone sells. Who will be getting profit? You will be getting profit, owner. So you will have profit. You will have not profit. Have and have nots. More money you will have. More means of production you will gather. More means of production you will gather. ठीक है? More factories, more land, which will make you exploit more, or let's say your exploitation ki power will also increase. You have one factory, you have four labor, you are earning 10 rupees. Then you have 10 factories. Understand, these will also increase. एक person की value will decrease. ठीक है, you can go home if you do not want to work. I don't care. I have 10 factories, I have 100 people. Initially you were only 4. If you go, 25% of my production capacity is gone. I will be fearful. Plus I am working to make you rich, to make you acquire more factories, more labor, more means of production. I am working so that I can be easily replaced technically. Now, who will be having more bargaining power? He will be having more bargaining power. Who will be having less bargaining power? Non owners, have nots. Plus, more they will work, more profit owner will generate, and more he will have the bargaining power. More he will work, more he will have bargaining power, lesser his bargaining power will become. Okay, so have will have bargaining power over have nots. Why do they have bargaining power? Because they are in control of means, madhyam of production. Production is important for living, necessity है ये. Necessity of life का माध्यम you are in control of. Think about it. Now, can we say that in Marx there are two kinds of classes, haves and have nots? We can surely do. Every person either will be having means of production or will be working in a job, will be a have not. So it is a class society. Currently, we are living in a class society where some are owning means of production, some are working, or let's say some are exploiters and others are exploited. Can we say if you are exploiter and you are exploited, what kind of relation do you have? You have a relation of struggle, conflict. Obvious, this is very obvious in nature. You are exploiter, you are exploited. If there is a lion and if there is a deer, what kind of relation will they have? Conflict. You are exploiter, you are being exploited, your rishta is conflict. And you are has, you are have nots, you are class. So can we say it is a relationship of class struggle? Classes are struggling, class struggle, one class versus another class. There are two groups in this big boss house. One is haves, one is have nots. The relationship is a relationship of struggle, class struggle. ठीक है, there are two teams, both the teams are in class struggle against each other. Struggle, conflict. This is his version of politics. See, either you can play politics on the basis of identity, and your identity becomes a very vague thing. You can religious identity, Hindu, Muslim, or let's say Yadavs, Yadav versus Chaudhry's. Random caste based politics, or let's say men versus women, or let's say nowadays transgenders are also coming in Canada. So if you do identity politics, it can also be your regional politics, Tamil. There could be lots of identities, but we are talking about basics. Basic identity will always be your have and have nots. According to Marx, these all identities are false consciousness. Who provides this false consciousness? Intellectuals. They make sure that you think of this only, that I am Muslim, I am Hindu. Array, a Hindu worker or Muslim worker, their struggle is against whoever is owning the mean of production. But they will never see themselves as worker. They will see themselves as Hindu and Muslim, and hence they will not unite, and hence they will not engage in struggle, class struggle. ठीक है? There is a fight going on in the world. Only two teams are there in the whole world. One is have nots. They are in fight. Who is winning currently? Haves are winning, bhaiya. Why? Because these people are not able to think of themselves as a team. One team feeling they are not having. They are fighting each other only. Some think he is Muslim, some think he is a Hindu, some think he is a Sikh. Then some is Sikh from Uttarakhand, some is Sikh from Punjab, some is Sikh of Delhi. ठीक है? So much division is there. They do not think that they are one team. But Marx says they will eventually develop this feeling. They will eventually develop this feeling of being one. And when that happens, they will obviously, then it is a number game. They are so many, they are so less, and they will be removed. That will be revolution. In Marx's words, you should not be developing false consciousness. You should not feel that other person is your, let's say, nation ka member, or let's say your religion ka member. No, they are false consciousness, nationalism, religion. A worker, have not an exploited person of Belgium, of Christian. His issues are same, his fight is same as a Muslim from Delhi. You are worker first. You are have not first. Then later on these things. These are false consciousness. It will just keep you confused. It will not make you understand what real is. And this is what makes haves live happily. ठीक है, they keep you divided. Divide and rule. ठीक है, make sense up till now. In his Communist Manifesto, he gives the very famous words: workers of the world, unite. Workers of the world. He is. See, if you have watched the movie Uri, he says, "How's the Josh boys?" What? Who was he addressing? He was addressing in movie. He was addressing the captain or major. He was addressing his unit only. but he is addressing workers of the world. It means no boundary, no division. All are one. All workers are one, and they have to unite. How do they unite? Bhaiya, first thing, stop developing false consciousness. Stop thinking you are Indian, you are Belgian, you are French. Stop thinking you are Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. Stop thinking I am Bhaiya Bihari, I speak Tamil, I speak Kannad. Arre, stop. Think that you are worker of the world who are being exploited. ठीक है? Now, how do you develop false consciousness? According to Marx, when you listen to intellectuals, you develop false consciousness. Modi, you listen to him, you will become Indian plus Hindu. Your real goal is not Ram Mandir. You will not achieve anything productive after getting that temple constructed. You could have gotten a school constructed. ठीक है? 600 students also, if could have been taught, it would be far much, let's say, betterment of you than this temple. Temple won't give you anything. But then again, you are living in false consciousness. ठीक है? Prime example, Advani. ठीक है? So if that is clear, think of nationalism also once. What is nationalism? According to Marx, it is nothing but invented tradition. There is nothing nationalism. It is just invented. ठीक है? False consciousness, this also. Religion, he says, opium of masses. Opium trade was very prevalent that time. Opium is some kind of drug, gives you some nasha something. Masses, bheed. Very, very true. Example, Ayodhya. How stupid and ignorant one person has to be fighting for temple. ठीक है? Now, who is the beneficiary? Who is benefiting of this false consciousness? Propertied class, the haves, as they do not have to ever worry about a uniting force coming in opposition. Never. You are so much divided. Do you ever see Ambani saying that he is Hindu or no? No, he does not care. He knows it is false consciousness. He wants you to believe in that. Do you see Ambani saying he is Indian? No, he works with everyone. He has so much work in Africa, he has so much work in Arabia. ठीक है? Do you really ask anyone what your nationality is before selling? No. When Prophet sees no religion, no nationality, how come you and not you, the haves? You, the have nots. You are so ignorant. You are too much involved in this false consciousness. You are so much worried about Hindu, is Muslim, ye, Bengali, Bihari, Tamil. Why? Because you were made to. Intellectuals, you have listened too much to intellectuals. You have listened. You are easily, because you have no knowledge. That is why when intellectual will be saying something, you will be believing it. And you believe that, okay, yes, I am a patriot. Bharat Mata, Jai. First thing, Bharat is a male name. Second thing, it is a geographical, man made region. Mata, see, no logic. Anyhow, let's not go there. Now, the issue is how to develop true consciousness. How do we make sure that everyone develop true consciousness? So he says, look, Marx says, look at what? Look at what? Look at material condition of your life. If you look at the material condition of your life, you will realize what has happened. ठीक है? Understand your condition, material condition. You are living on a footpath. Roadside you are living. You are eating this roti, raw rice. That too not frequently. You have to beg, borrow, steal all the time to get this. Meanwhile, you see Mercedes is coming, kids are enjoying. ठीक है? How come this much drastic change? And you believe that maybe it is in your fate because you are a religious person. Or let's say you will say that no, India is a poor country, that is why I am poor. You're a nationalist. Remove this prism. Just see material condition of your life. How come you are living here? Don't you see that something unjust has been done? When you will be looking at your material condition, you will come to realize that why something is not right. And here he gives the concept of class in itself, class for itself. When you look at the material aspect of your life, you will feel that भाड़ में जाए हिंदू, भाड़ में जाए Indian. First thing I need to understand is I am a bank clerk. Who is the bank clerk? Let's say ICICI, or let's say Yes Bank, or let's say you are a worker of Nike shoe factory. You don't have Nike shoe yourself. ठीक है? Apple worker does not have a Apple phone. You see your material condition and you feel that bhaiya, I am creating things. I am not reaping benefits. I am getting a mere salary. How is that fair? How is that fair? At that point, you will not realize, you will not feel very belonging to any religion or nationalist feeling. You will be feeling united that I am a working class. I am a have not. I am owner, not owning class. I am the exploited class. When you see that which class you belong to, you are class in itself. Class in itself, when you look at your material life and you realize you are belonging to working class. कि अच्छा आई एम वर्किंग क्लास तभी ये सब हो रहा है ओके then you try to develop more consciousness and then you will realize that working class is actually the exploited class. I am being exploited, and when you will get this feeling कि भैया I am getting exploited, what will you do? You will get in rage. You will feel that अरे यहाँ तक it is okay. I am working class. I get this. I understand. That is why I'm poor. Okay, okay, okay. ठीक है? Because maybe it is not in my naseeb type things. I am working class. That is why I'm poor. As simple as that. But when you understand that bhai working class is not working class, it is actually exploited class. We are being exploited. Production is a social activity. How come we are working and this one person is earning? This makes no sense. And this is on the basis that you have told us that he owns the land. Arey, why is he owning the land? We never question this thing. Why does he own this factory? Why does he own this land? Because we were born this way. When we were born, we were told that you can have land, you can have factory. That is why I never questioned. I thought this is real thing. Now I'm questioning. How can one person be in control of land and factory? Because if he dies, then also it remains. It is not he takes away with him. And how come if I stop, if we all stop creating, if all the workers stop creating Apple iPhone, how will you sell Apple iPhone? Can you sell it alone? Can you make it alone? No. Plus, you are bringing in technology, machines, removing our jobs. You are bringing more artificial intelligence, production line. So basically, we are working to make you rich to do R&D so that you can remove us. What huge exploitation is this? And you will get in rage. And when this second part, class for itself, you become revolution. It is time for revolution. So when will revolution occur? When class for itself may you become from class in itself. In for ठीक है हक के लिए for and you see the rage is too much when you realize that you are being exploited. The rage is too much and you will become a revolutionary. Naxal problem in India. Lot of people living in the forest for let's say 500 700 years, their ancestors, everyone living here. You came, you made them sign paper taking all the land away. You said that bhai you all come and live here side mein. Then you made them live here. You cleared the forest area, you build dams. That dam water is reaching here also. They are saying भैया क्या कर रहे हो क्या कर रहे हो? How come we have this land only? Nobody is listening. Initially they were thinking that they are a class in itself. We are the people of forest. Maybe that is why. Then they realize that our land has been taken away. At those land, lot of companies have been earning lot of profit. but we are not getting anything. Meanwhile, we have been removed from our cultural ancestral location for somebody else to earn profit in the name of development, and that development is not ours. किसी और के लिए development. Why do we have to pay the price? We are the exploited ones. And when you become a class for yourself, you become Naxal, Naxalwadi. Basically, they have become a class for itself. Class for itself will always be revolutionary. They will want to fight, kill, remove anyone. ठीक है? So, with that thing being clear, that thing being clear, you try to think if in India, India now, India is also a one of a oligarchic state. It is not a complete democracy as you would so like to believe, except Britain and France. There is none, to be very honest. USA also a oligarchy, India also a oligarchy. Plus, India is not just a modern state, it is a feudal also in nature, it is modern also. Basically, in bubbles, lot of bubbles are there. It is urban also, it is rural also. Bubbles are there in India. Yet, India में democracy is seen. Pakistan में we don't see. Bangladesh में times will come when army takes over. Similarly, not any other state. China is not like that. Russia is not like that. Iran is so definitely not. So how come India में democracy? Because see, in India you can be a dictator by people's choice. People will elect you to be the dictator. So why do you have to be afraid of democracy when people are so stupid? Because India में people have, अगर तुम एक चार्ट बनाओ, who has the most false consciousness, तो ये फ्रांस है, इसको यहाँ पे होगा, चाइना है यहाँ होगा, इंडिया है इतना, दिस इज इंडिया. इंडिया में टू मच फॉल्स कॉन्शियसनेस, टू मच डिवाइडेड पीपल आर. ठीक है. एंड दीज स्टूपिड पीपल वोट, एंड व्हेन दे वोट they elect themselves a dictator. So when you can be a dictator with people choice, why do you have a need to remove democracy? Hence India is a democratic nation. Yeah, don't write this anywhere. ठीक है. India is a democratic nation. We are very proud of India. Hail India. Okay, this is just understanding, because in part B we will be understanding these things, how politics work. If you have to understand, you have to understand. India ka democracy is not democracy. Your justification for being the largest democracy of the world are very number based. Number based. ठीक है. Anyhow, the leader being financed by, let's say, capitalist, what does he get? Political power. Basically, who gets the political power? These. Who are these? People. People of India. Now, they are under false consciousness. Do you see that ever a law could be formed which will deprive them of their haves? No, as simple as that. In fact, regime is going to increase their wealth. More wealth they have means lesser they will have, क्योंकि भाई यहीं का यहीं तो होगा. How does inequality rise? With disproportionate distribution of wealth. Wealth will be created in factory, and वहाँ से if 100 rupees is coming, 99 is going here, 1 is going here. ठीक है? More sharp division, more powerful, more political power they will be amassing. Why? क्योंकि you are not changing basic structure. If you need to change the basic structure, revolution is needed. Moving forward with our revolution. So with this structure clear, you understand real interest. What is your real interest? Is it your real interest that bhai Ram Mandir we establish? Is it your real interest? No, it is not your real interest. Your real interest is your class interest. What class you are belong to? Do you belong to a class who own the means of production? If yes, then you are capitalist class. If you belong to a class which does provide labor in exchange for money, then you are the exploited class. And you need to raise this awareness. And when you will feel you are exploited, you will rebel, all of you together. Class in itself becoming class for itself. Now, this revolution ki theory has been criticized by many as reductionist. Reductionist keyword reduction, reducing, कम कर देना, or let's say economic determinism. Now, what does this mean? So, why Marx has been called as a reductionist? Because you are saying कि भाई इतना बड़ा concept of history, which is not even a concept, it is a phenomena. Phenomena history you have explained with only one cause, one reason, which is economic. No culture, no Western political thought, no Indian political thought, no nothing, just economic, one reason. Mono cause. Mono means one, die means two. Monocausal. Monocausal justification you are giving of whole phenomena of history. This is very reductionist. You have reduced history to the just economy. Second, economic determinism. You are determining how history evolved just on the basis of economy, nothing else. This has been his criticism. So you understand these three words. Monocausal. Mono means one. Causal means cause. Economic determinism. Determine करना. Reductionist. Reducing. ठीक है. We will do Gramsci after Marx. But Gramsci also has seen a flaw with Marx' theory of history, and what he sees is that he has not taken cultural or ideological factors. He has not taken culture, he has not taken ideological factors in shaping of history. India never ever in its history, even when in the time of Ashoka, when whole of India was one, it did not embark on a colonial, let's say colonial adventure. It could have, it was in a position, but it did not. Why? Because our culture is not like that. We try to refrain from outside world. China also never tries to embark on a colonial adventure in at least past history. Now it is starting to. So this is also then when we say economic determinism, when we say economic determinism, understand one thing: who is a determinist? Determinist is a person who has already made up his mind. इसको पता है कि ये करवाना है मेरे को. Let's say your Islamic fundamentalist, they have made up their mind that bhai, this whole Western culture is, let's say, waste, not decent. ठीक है? Everything, women are weak, all these things, they have made up their mind about this. They do not need any scientific understanding or reasons. They won't listen to. They are very unscientific in nature. Personal personal agenda, or let's say personal understanding, you are laying more weight to. You are giving more points to your personal thought process. And this is what Marx has been called determinist. That he was bound to say that capitalism ka criticism you need to do. You did not like capitalism. So basically you have to show capitalism as a bad thing, as an exploitation, organized exploitation in fact. You are determined to do that. You are using economy to lay forward your theory or justification. Now obviously who will be saying these kind of things? Capitalists. And what they will be saying? That for followers of Marx was a god. Marx was a god. Literally, his followers, even Lenin, Stalin, with their versions, they all thought that Marx was a god, that history will move just like he has predicted, revolution will be coming. But he was a god that failed because his prediction did not come true. His prediction of revolution did not come true. Understand why? Because your liberal society, your capitalist society incorporated things like, what is one thing that companies or big corporates have incorporate nowadays? Corporate social responsibility, benefits, health benefits. So basically, more offers, more incentives they are trying to incorporate, more equitable distribution of resources they are trying to achieve. State has become socialist in nature. Obamacare, now Modi care. अरे यार ये पेन. Obamacare, social security schemes. ठीक है. Basically, you are not letting a person go like a orphan. State will take care. State will take care. These kind of values were incorporated. That is why we have not seen revolution. But if you remove that thing, then obviously this revolution is pending. Okay. Now we have seen the meaning of open society. Open society is a democratic form of society, republic in nature. Now, who was the enemy of open society? We have done this enemy. We have done this for Plato. Statement by Karl Popper. Open societies and its enemies. So one was Plato, other you can use it for Marx. ठीक है. But that is not well founded, I guess. You can say it. Because he is not even, you cannot say that Marx is against democracy or republic. He though is against state itself. ठीक है. Plato was for state. That state power, ideal state he wanted to create. He do not want any state. Marx do not want any state. ठीक है. So it is not very accurate enemy of open society, because if there is no state, you are wanting everyone's contribution. What more democratic can you ask for? So that is your wish to write howsoever you want. ठीक है. So what we tried to do today, Marx theory of history. How has he explained history? He has explained history in material sense, materialist, or let's say materialistic history. Or let's say my pen is not working. Historical materialism. Now we know what from this, that why society is progressing or history is progressing not from the movement of history but material. But till now we know nothing. We know just one thing, that base is your production. Mode of production is your base. It has three component. You cannot change the two. Only one. What is that? If this is means and this is relations. Relations of production only you can change. What is the current relation of production? That you can be owner or you can be not owners. Owner are haves, not owners are have nots. They are the exploited class. You are the exploiting one. You keep these divided using intellectuals. They develop false consciousness, hence, they are never united. Actual war is between these two classes. It is a class struggle dynamics. You need to develop true consciousness, and then only you will have a revolution, which will mean that you will change the relation of production. It will not be haves and have nots. What will it be? Before going into it, historical materialism. Materialism, what kind? Dialectical. So, our next topic will be dialectical materialism. Wait till whole picture gets clear with subsequent classes. Don't get so eager. ठीक है? Karl Marx is the most interesting thinker, so stay tuned, I guess. चलो फिर आज के लिए enough. Bye bye.